photography is this. Oop, I didn't mean to show. Is this right here. So photography's changed a lot. We've been drawing for 75,000 years. We've been taking photographs since 1839. So it's a very young medium. It's also a medium that has changed a lot in over time. It has changed a lot in the less than 200 years that photography has existed. The most major change has happened in the past 20 years. We have shifted from photography that looked like this, where we took pictures on film and had the film developed, to photography that was more like this. And I know this picture is ridiculous. I think this picture is hilarious, where we are using digital photography and taking pictures largely with our phones. If we were in class, I was going to have you guys kind of brainstorm about, in small groups, about the differences between film photography and digital photography. We can't do that here. Think about it for a second, but I'm going to summarize them for you. Film photography, we had limited quantities. A roll of film had like 24 pictures on it, and that is all that you could take. So, imagine, I don't know if you guys hear that barking in the background, but that is my foster dog, Harold. I'm going to go and let him in, and I'll start up in just a second. Okay, Harold's back, but he might be barking inside. Hey, Harold, you're okay. I need to do this right now. Hold on, I'm going to pause this again. Okay, I actually put Harold in my lap, and that seems to be working. Now he's squirming around. All right. Okay, so in addition to limited quantities, now photography is not defined by limited quantities. We can take as many pictures as we want. We could take 100 pictures in a minute if we wanted to. You guys have probably already taken pictures today. We take pictures all the time. Photography also used to be characterized by chance, risk, and lag time. That means that if you're using a film camera, you would be on your trip to Bora Bora or Hawaii or whatever, and you would take your picture, but it would take a while for you to know what that picture actually looked like. You would have to take your film, you would finish your vacation, you would take your film to be developed back home, and then you would get your pictures. And if your pictures didn't work out, basically you're SOL. You can't go back on vacation. You can't redo that picture. You don't find out what the picture looks like till much later. So photography is characterized by chance. You are shooting this image, but you don't know what it looks like. You're taking a risk to take that picture, and you're not going to know what it looks like for a long time. Now, if we don't get the picture we want, if we're using our phones, we can just take another one. We can take 100 more and get the one we want. So film photography used to be unforgiving. It's not anymore. It's incredibly forgiving. You don't like the picture you took of your dog, you can take 8 more of them until you get it right. You still don't like it, you can edit the crap out of it. So those are the key differences between film photography and digital photography. Oh, and I have this down here. Photography basically means, photo means light, and graphy means picture. So photography is literally a light picture. It is a recording of light, and we will see how that happens in the next slide. So our first example of photography is actually not a camera that was able to record pictures for you to hold. Our first example of photography is something called the camera obscura. And you're going to watch a video about how to make a camera obscura. But essentially, you make a very, very dark room. You poke a hole in that dark room, and whatever is on the other side of the dark room and the other side of the hole is reflected on the back wall of the dark room upside down, as you see here. This is a darkened apartment in New York City, and they poked a hole in the wall, and then Central Park, which is on the other side of the wall, is projected on the wall upside down. You're going to watch a video about how to make a camera obscura, but that is the genesis of photography. The genesis of photography is, how do you record light? How do you record something exactly as it appears? And that is what early photographers want to be able to do. They want to figure out how they get the camera obscura and they can record an image. So the camera obscura is like the projections that you see on screen in class. They're not actually, there's no physical image. Once you turn the lights on, the image is gone. You can't take the image with you. There's no physical object. So early photographers want to take the camera obscura, but they want to figure out a way to record an image. They want to be able to have a physical image of this Central Park. They don't have that with the camera obscura. This camera obscura is just a projection. I need to stop for a second because now Harold, my foster dog, is eating my pen. Okay, if the camera obscura is a little bit unclear to you, check out that video. I think it'll be helpful. So the first guy to figure out how to get a recorded image from the camera obscura was a guy named Jacques Daguerre. And actually, that's not his name. His name is like 4 names long. It's Jacques Louis Monde Daguerre, which I would never have you remember. So we're just going to remember him as Jacques Daguerre. And he figured out how to get a recorded image from a camera obscura. He worked with chemists. And he figured out that if you take a box or a room, and a box really, and you make it completely dark inside the box, and you poke a hole just like you're making a camera obscura, but at the back of the box where the image is projected, you put a copper plate with silver iodide on top. The image that's on the back of the box will be recorded onto the copper plate. So once you turn the lights on, you actually have an image. You have a physical image that you can carry around with you. This was the first photograph ever taken using a daguerreotype. It depicts a street scene in Paris. It's a copper plate. It's a copper plate that was put at the back of a camera obscura, and this image is recorded. A couple things about the daguerreotype that are kind of interesting. One is this scene actually depicts a busy Paris street during lunchtime. And you're thinking, well, if this is a busy Paris street, where the heck is everybody? There's only one guy in this whole picture, and it's him right here. What's going on there? Where are all the people? And the reason the people aren't there is that the daguerreotype took like 30 minutes to record. And so all these people came and went over the course of 30 minutes, and so they aren't recorded. In order for something to be recorded, it would have to be there for 30 minutes without moving. This guy, he's in the picture because he was getting his shoes shined, and so he was actually standing there for 30 minutes. Everybody else, they don't appear as a ghost image. They don't appear at all. So the daguerreotype has a slow exposure time. The exposure time is how long it takes to record the image. And then the exposure time of a daguerreotype, of an early daguerreotype, was about 30 minutes long. And so if you wanted to get something, you had to have it frozen for 30 minutes. Other thing about the daguerreotype is it is recorded on a copper plate, and there's only one of them. So there are no reproductions possible. Think about that now, how we can copy a photograph. 1,000,000 times over we can copy it. The daguerreotype, there is only one daguerreotype possible. There's no way to make reproductions. You guys are going to watch a video about how to make a daguerreotype. You're actually going to watch it happen. You'll see the process. You'll see how slow it is. You'll see all the dangerous chemicals that are used. It's actually a very, very cool video.